Are you ready for a wild weekend similar to the Hangover? Well, let's talk about My Divorce Party. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Our Past, and I'm here to talk to you about My Divorce Party, which is coming to digital and on demand on April 30th, 2024. It is kind of similar to The Hangover, but opposite. It is a movie about someone getting divorced. Hangover was a bachelor party. This is a movie about someone getting divorced. This is a movie where a group of female friends have a wild weekend, similar to The Hangover, except females instead of males. And a lot of craziness happens. So I guess there are similarities there. It is a very fun, ridiculous movie that I really enjoyed. My hot take is I definitely think you should check it out. Like I said, it's kind of like a female Hangover with some pretty sharp writing, plenty of humor, ridiculousness, and some heart. So overall, I definitely think you should check it out. I was not expecting to like this movie as much as I did, but hey, I'm happy to be pleasantly surprised. So all that being said, I'm going to tell you a little about the film, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into the ending. So as you can imagine, there'll be spoilers in the ending section. If you don't know what happens in this movie, and you might not, there are some ridiculous situations and some surprises along the way, then I would turn it off when I get to the ending. But before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So in My Divorce Party, you have Xan, who is gathering her close friends for the last weekend before her impending divorce. She is upset about the situation. I think her husband cheated on her with, I think his CrossFit instructor. And so she wants one last hurrah with her friends before she like signs the papers. But when they get there, Xan has a little surprise for everyone that turns this from like a weekend of drunken bonding to a weekend of drunken craziness. So all that being said, things I liked about this movie. The first, look, it's funny. That is always a good hallmark for a comedy. It's a funny movie. And movies like this, I kind of see going like one of two ways. Either I click with a comedy, I really enjoy it, I thought it's funny, or usually what happens is like it just doesn't hit for me. Like I don't know, the writing's not as sharp, the jokes aren't for me. This is just the comedy was hitting for me. It was a very funny movie, and I had a lot of really crazy, ridiculous moments and a lot of like turns, like very weird mood turns that were fun to see. So I really, really enjoyed it. The second thing I liked, similar to the humor, I liked the writing. I thought it was pretty clever. It had some really clever writing, some really nice kind of conversation, some fun wordplay between people, and some surprising situations. And as you'll see later, like some pretty heartfelt writing too, as they process through these emotions that Xan is going through in her divorce party. The third thing I loved, the ridiculousness. Like I said, it's kind of like the Hangover. It is insane. Some of the things that they do are ridiculous, over the top. The part of this is fueled by Xan's decisions early on that allow some of these things to happen. But overall, you just get a lot of very out there situations that are really fun to see and kind of, I don't know, surprisingly well done for like an indie movie. I didn't expect this many ridiculous things to happen in like a small budget indie film. And so it was a pleasant surprise there too. And the last thing I loved, always a good thing for like a comedy that has like some heartfelt undertones. It does have a lot of heart. There are some heartfelt scenes in here, and some good insights as well, both in the friend relationships and also in Xan's own relationship. And so I do always love that when you've got a comedy core, but then there are some heartfelt moments underneath. So all that being said, things I didn't like about this movie. The first, I didn't like a couple of the characters, and they were, I guess, kind of necessary. They weren't super funny and were more annoying. Like I said, the movie overall is pretty funny. The friend group is pretty funny. Some of the external characters weren't that great. They had their moments, but they were a little more annoying than they cared. But you know what? It's okay because the core group was fun and the movie overall was a riot. So that is My Divorce Party. It's coming to digital and on demand on April 30th, 2024. Like I said, I think you should check it out. I think you should watch it. I enjoyed it much more than I expected to. And so maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised as well. And if you do check it out, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I would love to hear it. Let me know what I got right and wrong. And I'm going to go into the ending right now. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So like I said, in My Divorce Party, you have Xan, who is throwing a divorce party. She is getting divorced. She has all of her friends out here. And early on, she reveals that she doesn't want her husband to get anything in the divorce. So she's going to sign her papers, I think, Monday. And so she brings the entire divorce settlement, the entire amount that she's saved that she has to split with her husband, $100,000 in cash to this desert trip. And she's going to burn it all in front of them. And they're like, no, like, don't do that. One of her friends is like, you should save it. Half of $100,000 is still better than nothing. Other friends are, telling her to do other things. And so eventually they arrive on, she's going to give a portion to each of her friends to plan crazy things for the weekend. which then leads to a lot more ridiculousness than I think she was expecting. So the first one friend has him go to like this strange like kink strip club, which was really really funny. Like it was like a strip club where they're like feeding people. It was very out there, very ridiculous, but it also turned into a very funny overall situation. That was one event. One of her more like pragmatic friends like had this really boring but very funny like session on savings and why you should invest and why you should always be investing and things like that. She wanted her to invest that money. That was her choice. They had a couple other events. One of their friends wanted to do like a nature hike because she was like a big outdoors person and a nature photographer. And this was a really funny one. But throughout this all, they have these like shady kind of hippie Airbnb hosts. They're staying in like what's supposed to be a like glamping camper out in the desert. It is definitely not glamping. It is definitely just a crappy camper. And their hosts are like living in the camper next door. So it is not the ideal situation that they were hoping for. But these hosts, they're kind of annoying at the start. They kind of like butt in various moments. They're kind of like out there. They're like sexually open, so they come suggest weird things. They're like randomly jumping into the friends group activities, but eventually they overhear the fact that the friends have a lot of money, and they think, okay, this is gonna be our big score. We're gonna be able to take this money. Doesn't seem like a bright idea because to do this, they would then have to like essentially uproot their entire business, their Airbnbs, and move somewhere else for however much money that the friends have. They think they have a ton of money. I think at this point they have like $26,000. Again, not nothing, but probably not enough to like uproot your life for. So while the friends are having another one of their activities, it's a like cleansing ritual where they're all dressed in white and they're trying to like release their negative energies. And this is where you get some of those heartfelt moments, some of those insights while they are like discussing you know, Xan's situation and their friendship and why, you know, some of the reasons why maybe, she was partly to blame for this divorce as well. And, why maybe like she drove some of her friends away. Again, it's a well-written scene. It's very heartfelt. This causes some friction between Xan and her friends. Xan doesn't want to admit any of this. So Xan heads back to the camping site. And when she gets there, she sees the two Airbnb hosts, I guess, Ezekiel and Amara. And Amara gives Xan some tea, some herbal tea, which is supposed to release clarity in her. And this causes her to like howl at the moon. Now, when the other friends show up, Amara like overheard one of the friends saying that she was engaged. And Isabella was the friend who was engaged. She had been trying to like not tell Xan because this is a divorce party. She doesn't want to like ruin the mood by saying that she's engaged and like causing those emotions to happen. Now, Amara congratulates Isabella on being engaged. This causes Xan to freak out. And Xan just like runs out into the woods because she's angry. Now, unfortunately for the rest of the friends, this is when Ezekiel and Amara decide to like pounce, and so they pull out some knives and tell everyone to get to like stay still and give them the money. And they're like, "We don't really have any money. Like, what are you talking about?" So the friends are all tied up next to this like giant wooden statue of an eagle called Nedward. And I love Nedward. He was just another random piece that one of the friends early on when she was going on a shopping spree with this money bought the most expensive thing at this convenience store. It was like a $600 wooden statue of an eagle. And so this was Nedward. And the friends are all tied up to Nedward. And one of them looks to the other and is like, if we're going to die, I'm glad we're dying with Nedward. And again, little random things like that were just really, really funny. Now, Ezekiel and Amara say, give us the money. We want the $100,000. One of the friends resists. She's like, no, like you think you can lie and cheat and tell me what to do. And then she like gets out of the ropes. The ropes aren't tied really well. It's like yarn. Essentially, they just like pull it out from under them and they fight back. They beat up Ezekiel and Amara and tie them up and like leave. And they say, we're gonna leave you a 1-star review. They should probably call the cops also, because these Airbnb hosts tried to like rob them. Not good. But they gather Xan from the desert. They all get in their cars and leave and go to a motel. They use the money, the cash that they were gonna blow to like buy rooms at the motel. They all get separate rooms. Now they finally have some space. And now that they're there, now that they're safe, now they've had this situation, Xan can't sleep. And so she writes them all notes. And the next day called them in to finish the like resurrection ceremony that Izzy started. Isabella was the one that had that like that like white clad ceremony to resurrect Xan, cleanse her spirit. Well, that ended poorly, but Xan felt bad. So now she's going to do it in the motel. They have this ceremony, and during this, Xan is holding this like bloody, disgusting feather she found in the desert when she was on her drug trip, and everyone's just like is like, turned off by this feather, but what Xan is saying is like very kind of heartfelt. It's sweet. She's like telling them that she's asking for forgiveness, things like that. So they have this ceremony, the friendship is healed, and they count out how much money is left, and they have $26,000. They're like, what am I going to do with $26,000? And they decide to buy this like old, crappy, this like really old bottle of pirate wine that was expensive. It was mentioned early on at the start. And so they decide, we're going to blow all this money on this pirate wine. They're in the hot tub at this motel, drinking this wine. Everyone is, everyone said it tastes terrible, but you know what? It's better than burning the money, I guess. So after that, the friendships are all healed. Everyone is happy. They're all packing up. Xan is in her car with Nedward in the back seat. Well, he has these like stunner glasses on. Again, I love that he's like throughout this movie. And Xan drives off. They're all texting. They seem like they're happy. It seems like their friendships are healed. And it seems like Xan is in a better place because she mended the relations with her friends and feels like she is in a place to move on. So that is my divorce party. Like I said, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. Oh, and there is a stinger. During the credits, we see a stinger. We see a ranger who is walking through the Joshua Tree National Forest. One of the friends decided that her $20,000, her part of the money, was going to be just donated to the park to preserve its beauty. It was very sweet. And so this ranger is walking through the park. She goes to that like donation box, opens it up, looks in, and just like is like, holy crap. And that's it. That's the stinger. I guess that is going to hopefully be put to a good place. Hopefully the ranger doesn't just like pocket it, but you'll never know. But that is my divorce party. Like I said, I liked it a lot more than I expected to. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely think you should check it out when it comes to digital on demand on April 30th, 2024. So if you do see it, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I would love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.